Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and build update number 1 of my Revell 69 Pontiac GTO kit. This kit is going to be the judge. So let's talk about this a little bit. I got a whole lot done today. So while I get the guys out of the way, I'm telling you, I'm pretty impressed with the kit so far. The detail is, oh no, geez. The detail is a lot better than I thought it was going to be honest with you. When I did the unboxing, I kind of thought that it looked good, but I wasn't sure really how good it was. But as I got into it today, the more I worked on it, the more I liked it, even though it's a low part count kit. But it cleaned up nice. Let me draw you in here a little bit, and I'll try to keep everything in frame for a change. I cleaned all the panel lines, or the mold lines up, just around, softened up the edges just a little bit, or on the back and the front. I got the front clip put on. It fit really nice. I'm happy with it. I do have a little bit of putty to do here that I'll do. I wanted to show you. I got a little gaposis right there that I'll put a little bit of putty to fill just the hole in. I'm not trying to fill the seam because the seam's there, but I do want to fill the hole. But it went on really well. And let me grab the hood. I put the tack on, and I'll tell you what, something I tried today and it worked out really well. Let me grab it here. I use the Tamiya's Extra Thin all the time. But today, what I did is I wanted this to be perfect, and I didn't want to get it to where I had the extra thin on there, and I put this down, and it just, dogs are happy. Somebody must have just came back. But I didn't want this to like move and make glue marks all over the place here. So I set this in place, just kind of like this with my thumb on it. It wasn't moving or anything. I took the glue and I put just the tiniest a drop right here. And it capillary actioned that thing and sucked the glue in. As soon as I did that, I put it around this way. I got my hand the heck out of the way. I just set it down and I let it sit for, geez, probably an hour. Just because I had it out of the way. And I let it sit for just about an hour before I even picked it up to look at it. And I think I'm going to do that from now on when I glue something down like that. Because you can't tell that that wasn't molded into place. It came out really well. So that worked out great. It's on there strong. I wanted to get it on there before paint, just because of that. Now the body, I got the front clip on, like I said. I got everything, just, you know, the mold lines cleaned up and softened, like I said, and got all the flash and everything taken care of, which there wasn't a whole lot of. But my plans for this are I'm going to glue this in place after I wash it and wet and sand the body. I'm going to glue that in place. I can get the airbrush angle down this way, and I can get it into this way, you know, hold it up this way and give a kind of shot that way, and I can get the paint underneath that thing. But I guarantee you, if I tried to glue this on here after I painted it, I am going to mess up the paint. There's, you know, I could drill holes and put pins in that and all that, but in the long run, if I glue that son of a gun on here right now, you know, after I sand it and everything, that is going to be part of this. I won't bump it off. I won't mess it up. It'll just be where it should be, and that's it. So I will struggle with the paint just so that I don't struggle with the paint trying to get this on later. You can see there's a big enough gap in there that I can't shoot into that trunk. I'll probably be using a 0.3 millimeter, my Mobius 0.3 millimeter when I do that, just so I'm not really laying it down heavy. But I think I'm better off doing it that way than trying to glue that thing on, even if it was pinned, trying to glue that on. I know I could pin it and then fold them over and all that, but I just want it to be solid. So there is that. Again, the body is outstanding. One little piece right here that's no big deal. This is my steering linkage. It's gonna be a little bit short. I test fit it and it just kind of drops in there a little off. So we'll have to figure out, we'll put a piece of solder, I'll glue it in there onto it, or maybe I'll put a little piece over it and paint it up and then slide it down to where it touches right here where the steering box is once I get it in place. And down the road, I'm not even going to worry about it right now. To be honest with you, once the engine and all the stuff is in there, you're not going to see it anyhow. But I'll know it's like that, so I want to make sure that it's right. The chassis, didn't need to do a whole lot here. Just sand off the Revell script that's on the side here. Opened up the hole for the engine, and then just, you know, work my mold lines out all the way around. Again, decent detail for a low parts kit. Decent detail. It even has the brake lines run on both sides. So I'll still, you know, run a fuel line and things like that. It doesn't have the fuel fill hose right here. And I have a piece of sprue that I'll probably have to flatten one side of it all the way off to get it in there, and then it'll look the part. And that's the best I can do, is just make it look the part. And you know what? Sorry, I just hit the camera, but I just noticed right here, oh, that would have ticked me off. Right here, there's Revell in China buried in there where you can't even notice it unless the light hits it just right. So I'm going to have to sand that off too, and that's in where the texture is too, so dang it. But I'm glad I noticed it now before I got it into paint. But we'll take care of that. The tub, I fitted in and out of the body a few times. I did have to stretch this out just a smidge so that the door line comes up with the door pad on the inside. That's all I did with this pretty much. Sanded down the mold marks and where it was held together. But that's all I did with that one. The seats are awesome. They really are. They fit together really well, where you got the cushion, you got the plastic, and then you got the back plastic. The headrest actually fits behind the back plate to give it that 3D look, like the headrest drops down on there. There was a mold line right here that I sanded out on both sides, no big deal. And where it clipped up to the front, no big deal. But I love this. I love the look of this seat. This is just such a cool look. So I'm still thinking, I don't want to do black in here. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to do white or what. If I do go black, what I'm going to probably do is go with more of a German gray. I'm not really liking when I do my black on my leather, that I don't like the way it comes out. So what I might do is I might pre-shade this like I did with the tan. I might pre-shade all of the lines in here with flat black, you know, all the way around, and then come back and paint with the German gray. And I think that might give me more of a leather look than just black, because leather isn't just black. You know, I've been looking at it a ton, and I would like a black interior, a leather interior, but I don't want to just go semi-gloss black, and that, you know. So I think I'm going to try to do the German gray, and then after that's over, maybe I will dry brush with the semi-gloss black. So I'll go flat black on the lines, then the German gray, and then maybe come back at it with the semi-gloss black, and then maybe even a panel liner on top of that. If I do a panel liner, though, I grabbed the wrong one. If I do a panel liner, I'm going to either use the gray that I have, which is dark, or the brown, which I probably won't. I'll probably go with the gray now that I just held it up and looked at it. And what that'll do is that'll lighten up those creases a little bit. But we're going to see, because I'm still thinking about that. Just so it's just not a monotone color, I want it to look like somebody's been sitting in these seats. So our exhaust took me a while. And the reason being, first off, this is a seam in the center, so I had to glue it and let it dry for a while, and then come back, work this seam out as best I could. And then the mold lines on here were pretty shallow, but boy, did they really stand out. And then the drive shaft is in there, so I had to do that too. But it seemed like it took a while for me today, just because of all the curves and bends and things like that, to get the mold lines cleared out. But now they're ready for action, and I'm going to hold it like this for paint with the two clothespins. I can hold it like this, and I can work the brush, you know, the airbrush with both hands, and do a good job. I'm going to paint the black. I'm going to do the exhaust, the mufflers in black, and the drive shaft, and then whatever oversprays onto the aluminum, I'm not going to worry about, because that'll just give me different tones on the aluminum. I will be weathering this. This isn't going to be a brand new car. It's going to be a show car, but it's not going to be a brand new car. And like I always say, you got to drive to the shows, unless you're trailering it, which this isn't going to be a trailer car. Just because I'm not a big fan of, I like to drive the cars that I have. The engine, I talked about this in the unboxing. The engine had good detail on it. I mean, the pump is molded in, the filter's molded in, the starter's molded in. They're all not too bad. The heads look good, the intake looked good, the water pump and timing chain cover looked really good. The distributor looked horrible. And since I was gifted some aftermarket resin distributors, I decided to cut that thing off. And what I did is I just literally snipped it off and then sanded it flat. And then I'll glue the distributor cap on that. I'll ring this with silver, and then I'll glue the distributor cap on this after I paint everything. Let me grab my finger. I already drilled out for the spark plugs on both sides. I drilled for the crankcase vent. I drilled for the water sender. I drilled for my heater hose. I didn't drill for the one in the back yet. It's going to go right here. So that is pretty much, I am ready to paint. Once I drilled this, and the reason why I didn't is because I forgot about it till just now. So I got to drill the back heater hose, because that'll run back and over this way. But this will be ready to paint. Again, I'm going to paint this with Tamiya's, a mix of 1 part sky blue, to 2 parts chrome silver. And that really, I think, is the perfect color for Pontiac. I like it. Lots of detail in this thing. The dashboard, now that I got it cleaned up, looks great. Amazon must have came. I sanded this down across the top here, got it cleaned up. But we're looking good. Lots of detail, and I think it'll be easy to paint. So, it sounds like the dogs are down here with me. My front suspension came out really good. It was a little bit time consuming because of the the anti-sway bar, and the linkage here it's just so close in there, already molded in. It was tight. So it just took time to clean up, but it looks good. And I have it on there, and I had it on the frame, and it looked really good on the frame. Remember, when you cut stuff off on the frame, not to cut your steering linkage. All right. The alternator looks really good. Alternator, I grabbed a carb. So since I got the carb, let's talk about it. It looks really good. Let me get it down here into focus. This is one of the best carbs that I have seen come out of a stock box. It really is. I haven't drilled for anything yet. And I haven't really had time to clean it up yet. But I'm really happy with the way it looks. All the details in there. To be honest with you, all I really have to do is drill a hole for the linkage to run it. So that'll be good. I already glued on the shroud and radiator to the front base. That's just because there was no really good way to hold it, and I can't get air, I can't get the airbrush in there and spray this way at it around here. Not a great place for the battery, but it is what it is. And I'll show you what I did with the battery here. Since this is the battery for it. I did drill the inside so I can run the wires to it, and it'll be ready to go. And then one other thing, well, since I was talking about my alternator, it looks great. I drilled it out for the wires. It's ready to go. I will, once it's hung and on the engine, I'll make a quick bracket because it's just hanging out into space, and I really hate that. And then my master cylinder, this thing took a while. It had just a flat tab that went across the top, so I cut that off. I sanded everything out, flattened this out, rounded off the top, and what I'll do is I'll drill a hole here and here for the real thin wire that I have, the AG 32 wire, instead of having that just flat. That looked horrible. And then I'll drill these out, and we'll run our brake lines on there too. But that looks so much better. I hope you can see that. I hope it's in focus. That looks so much better than that dang tab that was across the top of it. And it only took me about 5 minutes to do. So there's that. My steering column. And I was trying to figure out a good way to hold. These are the armrests for the interior. And I used my foamy tape on a toothpick. It's the first time I ever did this, and it worked out really good. It's not going anywhere. So I'm going to do that more often. I worked my belt on here, got it nice, rounded off this edge, and over here where the tabs were, thinned it out quite a bit so that now it runs just around the pulley and not 3/4 of an inch off the pulley around it. So that took a little bit of work, but it, the details there. It was just overmolded on the outside, which I could deal with. So with that, I think I covered about everything I wanted to. So I will let you go. I want to thank you for all the kind words, the subscriptions, the comments, and everything. Let me know what you think about me gluing this on the back before I paint. I think it's going to be the right way to go, but let me know what you think. And with that, I'll let you go. Y'all have a great day and a better tomorrow.